Yes, sir. My name is Ricky Perry. I am originally a choreographer, but I have evolved into the acting industry, so that is what I'm doing currently at this time.
Hell yeah. Sorry, listeners. For those of you who don't know, we know each other very well. He's one of my buddies, and I'm super excited to have him on the show today. But I want to start, man. Like, let's get into dancing. Let's get into like
hmm
where that came from, how you started dancing. Was it just from birth? Did you see something? Like, I don't know. How did that happen for you?
So, man, it was, I guess it was always just a hobby for me at the time. Just dancing in my living room, that type of deal. And after high school, I tried majoring in business, and that obviously didn't work out. And then, I wanted to try the dance program at University of Illinois. And so I didn't get in the first year, but I got in the second year. Thank God, because I told myself if I didn't get in the second year, I was gonna, have to figure something out here. But yeah, man. And then once I got in that program, it was, I guess, validation for myself that I could really take this journey for the long run. And even after college, I moved out here for a job in teaching and performing hip hop choreography, and did that for about 4 years. COVID hit, started to create my own dance videos. Wanted to tell more of a narrative in those videos, and that's what led me into acting. So I'm here now.
Man, I didn't know you were going to try and major in business. That I mean, it's a smart move, but
It
that's a
didn't. It
lot.
didn't. Yeah, it didn't work out, and I found that out real quick, real quick. So.
Well, even working as a choreographer, especially like a teaching choreographer and teaching class,
Mhm.
I would think that's pretty damn tough to do every single day. I mean, you love it, but when you were doing all that, and I wonder, do you feel like you were kind of living your dream in that way for a little bit before COVID?
Well, I wouldn't say living my dream because I wasn't at the high level. I'm still not at the high level that I would like to be in that field. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was fortunate, blessed to know that, I'm able to come to a whole new state, teach hip hop choreography and my style the way I wanted to be taught, and the fact that people gravitated towards it, that made me even more happy, and was like, okay, like I'm actually doing, something that people enjoy, something that people like, and they're learning. So I'm actually happy about my life. So yeah, from there on out, I just felt like I wanted more, to showcase more of storytelling, and that's what made me want to take acting classes and stunt classes. You
Okay.
know, to I feel like you can tell a language in your movement. So I'm trying to figure out how to use that as leverage into the acting realm.
Yeah, which I mean, I've seen in droves in the last couple of months. Just seeing you in class, especially with you incorporating that physicality and your physical background into acting and really incorporating both of those. It really stands out. And I got to go back to when you were trying to showcase you said your style and like the way you dance.
hmm
What would you say like your style is? Because I mean, I've told you before, but like I haven't been in the breakdancing circuit since I was 11, and that's when I was competing. So I don't know what stands out, what's what now, what
yeah.
like what was your style, and how did that stand out when you came over to Denver to teach?
Well, I guess I should start by saying the styles that I learned in college were ballet, contemporary, modern, and house. And with my hip hop, because I was self taught in hip hop, watching YouTube videos and just pretty much mimicking the dance moves that I would watch. And what I really gravitated towards was contemporary, mixing contemporary with that hip hop. Uh, the floor work in contemporary, how grounded and how level you are, and how aware of your surroundings that you have to be, and incorporating that with hip hop. It just seemed to blend in well for how I wanted to showcase my movement. So I don't necessarily have like, oh, this is the name of the style that I, my movement represents, but I do take hip hop and contemporary, those two, and try to blend them in and to create something that people don't, usually see. So
Yeah. And I mean, guys, if you it's in the show notes here, but if you look at his social media and you can see like what his style, what his flow is, and just imagine that in, a stunt environment or, in a really, really crucial scene. And it exudes at you, man. It bleeds at you every single time. And I love watching it. In fact,
mhm.
like you were the
Thanks,
first
man.
person. Oh, of course, man. I mean, I think I met you and one other person the first acting class I went to here in Denver almost 2 years ago
Yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
And
remember that, man. Yeah.
yeah, and I think you were there for a couple of weeks in or a couple months in at that point. But like, what drove you to get into acting? Because that is, it's tangible, right? It's
Hmm.
like a linear move when it comes to performance with different nuances. But like, what was it about acting that you thought like, oh yeah, I'll try this out and see
Man,
what happens?
with dancing, excuse me, with dancing, there's a lot of emotion to be shown through that just without speaking. And I feel like, I want to talk, I want to express those emotions in dialogue. And, acting just got me out of my comfort zone too, man. So
Mm.
it also made me more aware of the shields that I have built up as a human being. And, I want to break down some of those shields. I want to evolve as a person and be a better human. So acting not only does it, help me learn the craft and be more skilled, it's helping me become a better person. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, was it a social thing? Were you pretty shy outside of dance? I mean, did that have anything to do with it?
I would classify myself as a introvert, but I do got to go give it up for acting to help me be more social and around big crowded environments. I guess I don't do too well in those type of environments, but I'm learning to just oh man, I'm learning to listen more when listening more in conversations, learning to I guess this might sound weird, but I guess learning to ask the right questions, you know, to keep the conversation going. If that
Yeah.
sounds silly, but yeah, man, I'm glad I'm learning a lot about myself in acting classes.
It stands out, and coming from another person, I'm incredibly introverted and I'm super shy. So whenever you put us in what we could consider I guess a post workshop networking event where we have what like 50 people from our acting studio get together at some place
Yeah,
downtown. And it's odd, right? Like maybe before the acting classes you'll be in those environments and you're talking to people and maybe you'll just kind of let it linger and then leave. But now, like you said, you're coming up with, oh, why don't I ask that and see what other like branch of the conversation I can build? It just
exactly.
it it,
Yeah,
it becomes very fluid. So has that helped you out with your professional life too? Like whether it's working at the office or do you feel like that's kind of moved ahead into other aspects of your life?
absolutely, man. With my day job, it requires me, to talk on the phone a lot. So I do deal with angry people, do deal with nice people as well. But I'm just able to handle different situations better, without escalating the problem. I'm able to help resolve it.
Let's talk about where you are now that you've been taking acting class for I want to say what, probably almost 2 years now compared to where you were before, man. Outside of the
Yes,
social
it's going
aspect,
on
like,
three.
oh, going
Yeah, it's
on
going
3.
on
Oh
three
shit.
years. Yeah,
Damn.
time flies, man. It's
Yeah.
crazy that I've been doing it for so long. Not crazy long yet, but
Yeah.
I've been sticking to it. And I like that. I like that progress.
Yeah. So like what else are you getting out of it, man? I mean, I've seen since I've known you, I've seen the growth you've had as a performer
Hmm.
and incorporating all these things. I mean, you have a show coming up, which is going to be great. But like, what else outside of the social aspect do you think
Yeah,
it's kind of brought you? If you could reflect on
man.
that.
I will say, man, this past summer has been the busiest I've been within it, like just staying consistent with auditions. And obviously, I wasn't hearing anything, but this past summer, and it's true what they say, like it just happens out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Like once you start getting booked, and the momentum just starts going up. And this past summer, I'm realizing that for the first time. Did a couple commercials, did about two films this year over the summer, and this play that's coming up,
Yeah.
and also trying to work on my own little short film. So which will be my first short film. So I'm still in the writing process of that though.
Yeah, let's dive in it. I gotta let the people know what else you've been doing. I mean, we'll get into the stunts portion of it though, but
Yeah.
you're diving into your own projects, and that is a whole other can of worms that I can completely relate to, and it's not
Yeah.
easy. So just fill us in, man. Where's your head been at with that? 'Cause that's a lot of creativity just circling around
Yeah,
right
man. It's been
now.
all over the place. I will say that. Luckily I recently got some feedback uh from a friend, and they gave me some questions to answer, and it was good feedback because now I've just started rearranging scenes. You know what I'm saying? So pretty much deconstructing the whole order of everything, and then just starting new, not with a new idea, but like a new format of how to present it. How to make it good. Because like I don't know if I told you the genre that I'm focusing on is more of like a suspense, psychological thriller.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's what I want to do. And one of the movies that I watched was Get Out. Watched it again, actually, Get Out. And yeah, man, I'm trying to just learn how to do this. My whole process, I started the process wrong. I'm not gonna lie. Instead of like brainstorming ideas, I had an idea already, but I just immediately went into writing, not flushing out the certain characters. Everything that I know now for my next project on how to start, I'll start it that way. Cause the way I started this was just out of the blue. You know what I mean? Which
Yeah.
is which is cool because like if an idea comes to you, you just gotta dive into it and fix it as you go. And yeah, man, everything is finally looking clear. The idea is being more extremely detailed. Uh my only thing is I tend to write too much, and people tell me that the less you write, the better. So I'm trying to figure out how to, explain everything with only a short amount of sentences. And I don't know. It's fun though. My head just I start to have conversations just in my head, and I'm like, oh, maybe I can put that in here. You know what I mean? It got me thinking like that. And then, bro, with this writing, like I'll be out and about just getting lunch, and then I hear people's conversations, and it's like, man, like it has me just really tuned in on other people's conversations and how they talk to each other, and so I'm loving it, man. It has me in a whole new world, but I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna finish it,
Yeah.
and that's what I intend to do.
And you will, man. I mean, you have more persistence than anybody else I know and all the talent to back it up. It's just a matter of figuring out when to eat and sleep, outside of
Hmm.
all those different things. Because like you said, man, you start writing your own projects, you start writing anything, and it's like your eyes and ears open up more, and suddenly you're tuning out of a
Hmm.
conversation you're having with somebody because there's a booth behind you that's having a really intense conversation.
You know?
Yeah. Like a
Yeah, exactly.
argument or something. Um, and it's just cool, man. So I can't wait to see, what you do with these projects, but also want to see like, do you have any ambition to make your own feature film or like get into that portion of the
Ooh.
business, or you want to try and stay kind of loose with that?
Oh man. I don't know yet because I've thought about this question, and I gave myself like, oh, if, maybe just two short films first to like really figure out my process on how to write. Like I still don't even know like how to describe my writing yet. You know what I'm saying? I feel like every writer has their own style. Like I couldn't even answer that question right now. But I'll say I give myself two short films to make, and then once I finish those, see how I'm feeling to do a feature. Because man, the amount of money that goes into a feature, it's no cakewalk, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you've seen firsthand our buddy Matt, he's on his
Mhm.
2nd feature for the year, and I
Man,
don't
for
know.
the year, I don't even
Yeah.
know. Yo, that's crazy, but that's dedication though, you know what I'm saying? And to see
Yeah.
that is inspiring, so
I don't know how he does it, man, but you know what? You might be busy. You might be going the stunt route too. You could be the next Wesley Snipes, minus the tax evasion
you
charges.
know bro, like, cause stunts, man, has helped me evolve my dancing, which is why I'm still sticking with that. So and I started stunts around the same time I started acting. And I'm like, man, I'm getting the best of both worlds here. So I've been still doing that, but I recently had to put that on hold because of the whole moving. But man, the movements that I think of now is I don't know. I'm giving myself more creative freedom. You know what I'm saying? To just act ridiculous. I guess is the best way to put it. It's with my dancing and everything, and that leans more into my acting and being more open and free to take bolder, stronger choices. And yeah, I feel like it all intertwines with each other, man. And I'm loving every single one of
Yeah, in all honesty, man, it seems like you have a I don't mean to be blasphemous to whoever's listening right now, but you have the holy trinity of focal points. You have the
them.
acting, you have the dancing, you have stunts, and not even including everything else you're doing. That alone makes you just a heavily versatile performer, man. And I don't know when it
hmm
comes to the stunt side, especially. I mean, do you have a moment you could reflect on where maybe you've been dancing and you thought about something you learned in stunts or in martial arts that you quickly
hmm
incorporated and it was just like, "Oh my god, it fits."
I've
You know?
been doing it with my content on my Instagram, man. The little
Mhm.
dance reels you see on there,
Yeah.
the movements you see on there, those are some of the moves that I've learned in stunt class. I've just found a way to hopefully blend it in to where it's not here's a dance move, here's a stunt move. Instead, it's all blended in to where I'm starting to do acrobatics now. Like I've learned backflips in stunt class. And oh, man, doing that with my dancing, it's like I think of that and I'm like, oh my gosh. Like I get I don't know, I get excited about the creativity that it's like I unlocked something in a video game to where I could just add to my arsenal. It's I love it. That's how I think of it, man, and I love it. It's so fun.
Well, shoot, man, honestly, I wish I could get into a time machine and go 10 years and just see what you're doing. I wanna see what's going on, what's happening in Ricky's life. But
Me
what do
too, man.
you yeah, what do you wanna do? Until you got all this stuff, man, like, let's just talk about we'll do
Mhm.
this, like, this acting thing that all actors do, or like, "Oh, in 10 years, I'll own a house off Malibu," or something, like, we always do that crap, but
Yeah.
for your career, man, I'm curious, where do you wanna be in 10 years? If you could just be there right now and have everything you wanted to do there, what would it be? Like, what would your career be?
Oh man, owning my own production company, like
Yeah,
that's what I've been thinking of recently. Yeah, man, and
damn.
like having connects to just bring different people all together is people from the stunt realm. Hey, meet these actors, like because I know actors that want to start dancing. You know what I mean? And hey, meet these dancers. It's like if we could help each other all out, man. Most definitely have my own production company, and because the ideas I have, they're going to require a lot of money. So it'll just be a good way to get my visions out there, man.
Yeah.
But were you also talking about where would I live too? Is that also in that question?
I mean, it's just one of those things. I know, like, Aubrey, former guest of the show, she and I always talk about that, like, "Oh,
hmm
hey, yeah, I think I might have a place off of, I don't know, a cliff on the Pacific Northwest side of the US," or something crazy like that, but honestly, that'd be
Mm.
fun to figure because I have no idea where you would, you know, build
Oh,
a
Tokyo,
foundation.
Tokyo for sure.
Really?
Yeah, man. I want to live in Tokyo, man. Absolutely.
Ooh.
I told myself, like, if I'm, say my goal is to save enough money to go out there for a month. Like, that's what I'm focused on right now. But, oh yeah, absolutely.
Man, I see, I forgot about Tokyo, man. I know we were talking about you taking the trip out there, but man,
Yeah, man, I want to. It's like it's somewhere I've never been, but I'm just so fascinated by their culture, so I think it's only right.
yeah, I'm all with your writing and your filmmaking, man. Are you gonna take some, Japanese influences and put those into your projects as well?
I would like to, but
Yeah.
one, I gotta get more confident in doing that. And
Yeah.
two, I gotta learn some more knowledge. I've started learning Japanese just a little bit, and I'm still at the beginner stage, pretty much basically learning
Mm.
survival skill questions. So prepping myself for when I want to go out there, obviously, and ask around. But yeah, man, Tokyo. I'm a big anime fan, so I feel like it would most definitely fit me 100%. But hey, man, if you're down to come with me,
Oh,
I'm with
yeah.
it.
I'll definitely have to brush up on Japanese, a language I've never learned, but,
Hey, it's okay. It's okay. If we both just get lost in Tokyo, I
yeah.
think we'll still be fine. We'll
Oh,
still figure
we'll
it out.
we'll stick out like a sore thumb.
Wow. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But we'll still be enjoying ourselves, is what
Exactly.
I'm saying.
Exactly, man. Um,
Oh,
yeah, man, I wanna see what happens, and I'm glad, like, we're having this sit down on the podcast because it's almost a mishmash of everything we've talked about after class when it's like 4 of us standing in a parking lot till 11 at night on a Monday.
yeah.
Just just
And then I
gabbing
try to
away.
figure out where I want to go eat, and I'm like, oh yeah, everything's just about to close. So,
Everything's closed.
oh,
Well, man, with everything that you've been doing, since, you left, y like, Illinois, you've come here for a job, you've kind of found your community, your artistic community. There has to be just a ton of stories, or experiences that you've had, whether they're hilarious, whether they're scary, whether they're, heartbreaking. But
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I want to see, man, because I've never asked you this, but do you have I mean, on here we call it a party story, but do you have a story of just like a really immense experience that you could share with the listeners here?
Mm, man, while being in Colorado or just in general?
Just anywhere, man. It doesn't have to be, something about acting. It doesn't have to be something about
Yeah,
stunts. It doesn't
yeah,
have to be
yeah.
something about dancing. It could incorporate all of them. It could incorporate like none of them, but just something that you think about pretty frequently. And it could be funny, man. Like a lot of the ones we hear on here are
Mhm.
hilarious after the
Yeah, yeah.
fact. Like during it's
Man, what's
yeah.
what's still crazy to me, I know you said it didn't have to be with anything film related, but it's something I do, think about to this day. Um, getting my because I created my own dance film, and it was basically me dancing to an artist's song, but I was able to hire the artist to play the song on a piano, from her album. And so we did that at what was the location? I don't know if you've been to Mercury Cafe.
Gotta
Have you
love
been there?
Mercury Cafe. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but I
Yeah.
think it's owned by different people now
Mhm.
because um I tried recently emailing the owner, but she didn't respond.
Hmm.
And I think someone told me that it's owned by a different person now. So, but I don't know. I could be wrong. But yeah, I was able to shoot the dance video there. I submitted it to festivals. You know, Obviously I got told no so many times, and then, I got into a festival out here in Colorado, and that festival also partnered with the Twin Cities Film Festival. And I was able to get in two festivals, with one submission. So it kind of it worked out. And but at the end of the day, I say that story to say that doing it on my own and getting that small reward, you know, it made me realize like, yo, this is something that I can do this basically. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
want to prove to yourself that you can do these certain things. We talk about Matt and how what he does is so so good. Doing two feature films in a year. Like I don't think people I don't think people grasp how insane that is.
No.
And you once you see that type of stuff, you start to tell yourself like, oh, maybe I can do, I can do this. If he can do this, I can honestly, put out my own projects. Tell my own stories out there.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, just accomplishing that. I still think about that to this day because I did it on my own with my own budget, everything. And so it's a story I keep in my head for sure.
Yeah,
So
man.
yeah, it's not like a funny story, but it's something inspirational.
Yeah, absolutely. Nobody
Yeah.
knows, and this is for anything, right? Nobody knows what they're capable of until they just do it, right?
Hmm.
Until they try
Yeah,
it
yeah,
out.
yeah.
It may not be what you wanted it to be. It may be more than what you wanted it to be, but until you do it, it's nothing. Yeah. It's just it doesn't
Yeah, you know
exist
what I'm
yet.
saying?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah, absolutely.
I feel you right now. I'm working on a proof of concept trailer for a script I wrote 2 years ago. And
Nice, man.
I've rewritten it 15 times in the last 2 weeks or so. It's so I get it, but once you get it done, not only
Yeah,
do you
you'll
have it
know.
done, but yeah, then you know, like, okay, this is a
Hmm.
yay or a nay situation.
Yeah.
But, speaking on that and speaking on, that story being so inspirational for, you making your own project and then seeing it come to fruition, man, like, what is something that you've kinda taken to heart that, along the lines of, like, advice that you could pass on to somebody else? So, like, what's something that you are constantly thinking to yourself to get you to keep going, especially now, especially, like, during these crazy moments? You have a piece of advice you
Hmm.
could give the listeners?
Yeah, man. There was this quote I s- I read on social media, man, and it's a good quote. It says, "I'd rather create and get critiqued for it than to not create anything and to critique others." You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's something that really stuck with me. My God, man, I wish I could. Who? I wish I would have saved that photo in my Instagram and because I'd look it up right now and tell you who said
Yeah.
it too. I believe it's a well-known director or writer, but
Okay.
I can't even think of the name right now. But that's a quote that's been sticking with me recently.
Man, I can already see that on your production office wall, like, right when you walk in the lobby. It's right there. Oh, dude, I
Bro,
love
it'd be
that.
amazing to have a production company. But
Oh, you
right
dude, you
now,
will.
just create. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely. You're right, man. You're right. I
Yeah.
will. I will.
Yeah. See? And I swear I've seen that. I've seen that or I've heard that quote before, but
Yeah,
it's
I feel like you have too, but I
yeah,
can't think of the person's name. So
it's one of
don't
those,
worry.
like, you should screenshot it when you see it on social media, but you don't 'cause you're like, "Oh, man, it's too beautiful. I won't forget that." And, like, you
I
do.
know it's gonna eat us, man, in the head, and then like by the time we get off this phone call, it's gonna be like, oh man, that's who
Oh,
said it.
I'm
But
gonna
we'll
yeah, I'm
see
gonna
it as we are on our social media later on.
yeah, I'm definitely gonna look for it for sure, man. Because that is just an innately powerful quote, especially for all creatives right now and where everything's
Yeah,
at. But
exactly, man.
you, man, I mean, outside of all the stuff we've talked about, you got a lot going on. So I do want to
Hmm.
see what I can give a shout out to and what I can promote. I already have one thing that we're going to talk about with somebody else in 20 minutes here, but to wrap the
Yeah,
episode
yeah,
up,
yeah.
what can I shout out for you, man? What can I promote?
Oh man, outside of this play, honestly, man, um, things are slowing down. So I'll probably just be working on my short film right now.
Yeah,
So, in the writing process of that. But
yeah.
everything else I did previously this summer. So nothing, nothing else going on after this play for the month of October. So I'd say keep promoting that.
Yeah. Oh, I got it, man. Are you cool with sharing your social media handle with everybody?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Absolutely. It
Okay.
is at Slick SLK Rick RICK 4.
All right, man. This I'm gonna see you in 20 minutes on a completely separate
Mm,
occasion. But
yeah.
this was this was a long time coming to just share your story, share you as an artist, which I think
Hmm.
it's a journey that a lot of people can relate to. And some people just decide to stop doing it because they're focusing on one thing, but for you, man, if one thing slows down, you got all these other things to go dig into. So you're
Yeah.
constantly
Try to stay
evolving.
busy. Try to
Yeah.
stay busy, man. That's how I always think.
See,
But
and
thank you for having me on the show, man.
oh hell
Because
yeah.
I listen to your podcast, man, and I enjoy like the questions that you ask people and how you get to know them as an artist. And I just feel honored being on the show as well. So I appreciate
Dude, I'm so glad I got you on. I've been wanting to have you on for months, and I'm just like, you know what? I just need to ask him.
you.
Because
Yeah, yeah. I had to get a little busy so I could have something to talk about. I didn't want. Oh man.
so it's not 45 minutes of us talking about like the new DC run or something
Oh
ridiculously
man.
nerdy. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, but I
We'll be
got
talking about some anime in a minute. We
yeah.
still got to talk about some anime, but we gonna do that later on, man.
Oh yeah,
Because
we will. We'll do that
because
for
Comic
yeah.
Con. That's all I gotta say.
We'll do it for an in person.
Yeah. All right.
All right,
I'll
but
hold your
well,
word to that.
oh, you know I'm gonna live up to that. I got one more thing though before we start recording, and that's
Yes,
our
sir.
awkward goodbye, man. This is all
Our
you.
awkward goodbye.
Yeah. So this is gonna be silent 3, 2, 1 countdown. I'll point to you, and then to the camera, give us your best verbal and visual awkward goodbye, and I'll let you go from there.
Okay, okay.
Does it sound good?
Here we go. All right, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try something here.
All right, buddy. Here we go. In.
Goodbye.